Just to wake up thinking of you. Remember when you kissed, now I'll stay up thinking of you. Knowing what I'm about to miss. Can't remember how it started. I know it's gone too long. Still I need to tell you something before I'm here alone. That I can't wait for something, 'cause I'm running out of space. Need to build my new beginning, 'cause tomorrow's running late. But oh, I know, oh, I keep telling myself I'll be okay. 'Cause I want somebody to come to me. I need somebody to come to me. I can't conceal the passion. I know it's me. I know there's me that's like it. No, you can't believe the way you treated me. You're begging to see. You're begging, believe. In my heart they pulling it close. And I already know. But I can't wait for something, 'cause I'm running out of space. Need to build my new beginning, 'cause the hours running late. But oh, I keep telling myself I'll be okay. So pray it over me, 'cause I want somebody to come to me. I need somebody to come to me.
We sell products made out of paper, toilet tissue, and local newspapers. That is in order of quality.
My name is Ned Sampson. I am your new editor-in-chief.
Have you read this paper?
Uh-huh. It sucks. But we are going to make it better. I hope it's not too disruptive to have me shake everything up.
Don't be so self-defecating.
God, not again.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms can keep coming back. Break away to what's possible with Tremfya. With rapid remission at 12 weeks and fewer bowel movements and less abdominal pain at 4 weeks. Most patients achieve remission at 1 year, and some patients saw visible healing of the intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Backed by over 15 years of clinical research. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today.
Morning, sweat. Taste test, sweat. Go time, grow time, big time, sweat. Sweat moves you forward. We'll make sure it never holds you back. Degree, here for sweat.
Swinging through the motions, but I'm pushing you this time. Would you like to rhyme? Oh yes, I know. Oh, I know.
All right, let's see.
What I gotta do to
We are live on YouTube.
what I gotta do to make you
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I know the sound, for some odd reason, sounds perfect in our headphones, but the sound on YouTube is a bit crunched. If it sounds muddy, I'm sorry, we're messing with it, but it's just what they want us to do, so we will deal with it once we're doing here. Let's see.
Value for me, and we can take a ride around back in town. Hear my voice, listen now. Oh no, you're missing out. Oh no, you're missing out. This driving diesel wage. I like to miss me. I like to ride alone and sit around away. But now you know now. Now you know now. Now you know now. Help me anyway. Anyway, I'm holding on. Just wanna forget about you. The wonder why I even came out. Now, baby, it's just too loud. 'Cause it's too
And Ed got us all switched over. Perfect and seamless. Thank you very much, Ediconius. All right, sorry, I had that playing. We are live on YouTube Live, or YouTube. Just go to Island Moon Live and you can find us. We are also coming at you in vivo on 104.1 Retro Tejano and KUKA Driscoll, Texas, Corpus Christi's Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3. My name is Jacob Oggs. We've got a full table and a packed show, stuff going on. Jay Gardner to my right, Tyler Thorson, right? We're back on Pirate Radio. There's the ARG you've been talking about. Dale Rankin, editor, publisher of Island Moon, and Joe Gazin, who is retired.
Morning.
But still working.
Yes, I'm retired but still working. Loving it. It's great.
Awesome. We've got world-renowned sculptor Ken Olberg coming in today. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a new movie coming out by Denise and Matthew Thornton that will also be on with us called Wind in the Sails that debuts down here this weekend, which is going to be a blast. I'm super excited about it. There's a lot to get to, and before everybody kind of gets pulled too far off track, we do want to give a shout out to a couple of our good friends. Jason, who's one of our longtime listeners, and one of our other really good friends from even way back in the Lago days, Jeremy Berry, who is now...
Yes, he was newly appointed to the Parks and Recs Advisory Committee, and yesterday was his first meeting. So
That's awesome.
yeah, no, it was really good. So
Scoot in.
we talked a lot about.
There you go.
We talked about a bunch of things at Parks and Recs yesterday, and Dale, we'll jump into those real quick. You and I had talked about the visitation numbers at the Gulf beaches that the Parks Director.
Right. They put out numbers for beach programs.
Right. So they told us yesterday how they got those numbers, and basically it's cell phone fencing, right? So they're using the cell phone towers and pinging them off. So for the downtown numbers, they lumped together McGee Beach, North Beach, and all that.
Right.
And so they can't necessarily discern who was on the beach. They said there was 450,000 people downtown beaches during the summer.
Right.
And then there was only 400,000 people
I wondered
at the
about
Gulf
that.
beaches.
That can't
so,
be right.
So they said, okay, the Gulf beaches, the numbers are just from White Cap to South Pac, and then North Pac to Mustang Island. So they're a lot. It's a lot easier for
Leaves
them
out Claiborne County.
to yes, and Nueces County and Port Aransas. So they admitted, because people were asking questions, Dale. So
Well, I had the same questions when I saw the numbers.
I
but
know. So right, you
do
weren't
not
the
know
only
the
one.
Methodology, you don't know how they got that, but
No,
it
and
doesn't
then-
seem possible you have the same number of visitors to
Right.
the island as downtown.
Right, and that's all of downtown. So I just wanted to go over that
And
real quick.
they're using cell phone data to track all that, right? I
Yeah.
thought they were using the chips from the COVID shot that they put in
Yeah, no
everybody.
kidding. One of the other fun things before we get overrun by the hordes of other people is that we were talking about the pools, right? So the city pools like the Natatorium and the new one at Bill Witt Park's only open for, the summer season, and then it's closed, right? And so, $12 million for a new Bill Witt pool and splash pad and all that for 3 months seemed kind of expensive. So we went through some of the numbers, and they said, for another 80 grand per pool, they could keep it open for another few months. So we talked about corporate sponsors, maybe getting some corporate sponsors, and I had some great ideas. I know some great corporate sponsors that would probably kick in on keeping a pool open. Maybe like Seven Seas or South Texas Water Authority,
Yeah, Henry's got a little money available.
or the people that are running the Evangeline. Maybe they'd want to jump in and sponsor a pool.
My friends at Cess Engineering wanted to help, but I reminded them that cesspool is not a really good name.
Well, if it's using effluent water,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
See, we're solving problems here on Island Moon Thursday.
that's what we do around here. That's good. So they have, so what was the Thomas J. Henry slip and slide? Is that what?
Yeah, slip and fall. Yes, Thomas A. Henry slip and fall.
Yeah. No, that they would offer too much money. So let's go with the other one. Hilliard.
Yes.
Industrial accident ballroom.
Yeah, right.
Man, it seems like I can't look at anything YouTube right now and not see fish.
No, yeah. No,
Everybody's out there catching fish.
Right, so speaking of fish, we can cut through that real quick. If you guys are thinking about coming down to the coast this weekend, it looks really good. Even though there's like a little bit of rain forecast in, the rain's supposed to end by Friday afternoon. The winds are supposed to be great, 8 to 15 miles an hour. It's supposed to be mostly sunny. The tides are perfect. The tides are up.
Beach conditions are good, and the heat is let up a little bit.
Right.
And the rain would be a good thing, right?
Beach
Yeah.
driving is good up north, but it kind of dusts out down south. It's mediocre down south on high tides, so you got to watch out for that. I watched the surfers out there on longboards the other day. They were having a blast. And
The beaches
fishing,
are not overcrowded. It's a good time to be down
It's
here
a
right
good
now.
time to be down
It's
here.
the sweet spot of the season.
the fishing, the redfish run is on at the
Yes.
jetties. And what else for fishing, Tyler?
Well, the thing is, there's competing things that will make it even better down here as far as fishing goes. The South Zone dove season opens on Sunday, but we have another one.
Right.
The White Wing is Friday. Again, it starts at noon, and that will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the White Wing, and then it's over with. But the regular South Zone morning dove season starts on Sunday, so a lot of folks will be doing that, and usually they'll bring the rain with them inland.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
And I thought I was going dove hunting this morning. I had that one spot of rain over my house. I got it.
Yeah.
So it's also migrating bird season. We're starting
yeah.
to see some of that happen.
Right, we had one at the shop at Complete Foundation Repairs. There was a warbler that popped at the window,
Yeah.
at the door, and you can see them. The ibises are going in the yard too. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
fishing has been off the charts, as you said. You've been out to the jetty. I've saw last week so many
Redfish
4-foot
rodeo, yeah.
4-foot
So if you're
tarpon.
thinking about coming to the island,
Be a
to
great
the
weekend to
coast,
come.
this is a good weekend
This
to
is a
go.
great weekend to
Yes,
come to the
and if you
coast.
can get down here early, it's even better.
Well, and it's
Fun.
just before the time when we have fall festivals every weekend, something going on.
a truck crop or a farm animal.
Yeah, every weekend in the fall in Texas. Yeah,
Or a fishing tournament.
exactly. And Flower Bluff plays their first district game this Friday, I believe.
It is away, but it's Harlingen South.
So
down
they're
the
going
valley.
down again to the valley. So there are
Yeah.
a lot of bus rides for those kids.
Right, yeah.
Well, but that's been the way it's been. I mean, even since Lauren was still teaching there and helping out with the Sting line, just the way that they pulled the district, I guess, is that I think Chris Steinbrook explained it to us a while ago. We'll
Yeah.
have to have him back on.
And he
before
said it's
too
not,
long.
they factored in that for as far as the money goes. And it's sort of like redistricting. Like, well, you're in this zone now, so you get to vote for down in the valley, I guess.
Yeah,
all the way
yeah,
to here.
yeah, so we have
long
a-
bus rides, but the Hornets beat their first opponent. It was like somebody from somebody of
In Mexico, yes, they've been doing that for several years now, and it's really great. A great exposure for the for the kids to come over and play a big American team, and they have a blast and get to see what it's like in Texas. In our with our famous Friday Night Lights, it's really cool. I'm glad they do that kind of program and stuff. And
They still broadcast the games on YouTube live, do they not? Or-
yes, they've got
That's fun.
Flower Bluff Sports Information, I believe, is where they.
A lot of high schools are doing that now. It's really neat. You can watch your old high school play football on YouTube.
Yeah, well, it was really awesome. We were down in Hebronville dove hunting a few years ago when Flower Bluff was in the playoff, and we were using the internet to basically watch the Flower Bluff team play what was it, the team in Katy in Houston.
Oh, the one
which
that
was
they,
it was
they
like
ran through them like.
oh, it was like it was like they were playing LSU when they won the championship. It's like,
Yeah, it was
Playoff game.
Could be a little bit outmatched here.
During Hurricane Harvey in our coverage on
Yeah.
Channel 3, most people were watching us online
yeah.
because power had been off and a lot of people had evacuated and that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
we were depending on that kind of technology, and thank goodness it was there. That's how a lot of people got their information.
We had the big Harvey anniversary again. Was it last week?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
another one before that. The big hurricanes have hit us.
And things are strangely quiet this year.
I know. That's very
And let's
strange,
keep it
isn't
that
it?
way.
Right.
Actually, well, I say that, but we all need the water, of course, and we all know that the answer to a drought, as far as Mother Nature is concerned, is tropical weather, a hurricane primarily. We don't need the destruction, obviously, of a hurricane and all that would bring, but a good tropical storm sitting over us for a while.
Right.
That would be
the
helpful.
threat
There
of
was a
hurricane.
tropical storm at City Hall this week.
Yeah, good grief.
I almost started buying water and toilet paper. while I watched that.
exactly.
Talk about having water in this town.
Well, one thing that I did some research into was finding out why we've had such a quiet storm season. It turns out it's you can blame ENSO, which is ENSO. It's the El Nino Southern Oscillator. It's the El Nino and La Nina runoff of the temperature in the Pacific.
Right.
Because believe it or not, so many of the subtropical jet stream pulls off this, and Alan Holt's probably listening right now like, Oggs, don't mess this up.
Yeah.
So we have this El Nino in place now.
So we're in the transition year.
In between.
The closest that they say we had,
So
I
it's
guess,
just a
weather-wise
straight
to this, as far as a
jet stream,
chance,
yeah.
is 2013. So
And how many storms do we have then? Not very many.
not very active, and we haven't had anything really enter into the Gulf yet.
I know.
So
We haven't played chicken with, knock on wood,
Yeah,
with a single storm this year. It's very unusual.
That's right. And hey,
Don't jinx it.
yeah, don't jinx it. I'm trying to go to Belize next week, so let's keep
Yeah.
the storms down if you don't mind.
they're predicting a more of a milder winter for us, but it's because we're right in that break period. There could be some brutal storms that do come through. So they're predicting hotter and drier overall, but I saw, what is that, polar vortex? The name of my punk band.
And
And
we always used to say is, it only takes one.
Yeah.
yeah.
It only takes
It's a bad season if you get hit.
Yeah,
It's we only had one storm, but it went over my house.
Wow, but okay, what other stuff we need to get to, Jay?
Oh, I mean, we can run down the rabbit hole at Parks and Recs. They finally came up with a new Adopt a Something program, and they're adopting a trail now. You know, we've been trying to get them to
Adopt the dog park.
adopt a dog park, exactly. Adopt a median. I've been trying to work on that. Whitecap NPI would like to take over the medians along Whitecap and Aquarius and Commodores, and so they're finally coming around to it. The great thing is despite the budget woes, the Parks and Recs got like $428,000 for connectivity of trail system, right? Maintenance and
On the
connectivity
island or
trail
everywhere?
system. everywhere. This is kind of a new program, and the great thing is that it is compatible with the Island Mobility Plan. And since somebody stepped down, I stepped in, and I'm now the chair of the subcommittee for the bicycle and
That comes with a
pedestrian.
raise in pay, right?
Absolutely, yeah, I get doubled from zero to zero, exactly. So hopefully there'll be some more collaboration in between Parks and Recs and the Island Mobility Plan and get those into the CIP. The Island Mobility Plan has one more step. It's got to go through City Council at some point in time, and they're hoping to get that approved in October. That way, some of those projects, the low-hanging fruit that we've been talking about for 2 years, can actually make it into the Capital Improvement Program, which is the program that actually gets funded through the various budgets. It could be stormwater, it could be utilities, it could be streets. So, anyway.
So together with the pay that you get from this show
Yes.
and that,
Yes.
Oh, triple it.
That's a retirement fund.
you can go to Belize.
Otherwise known
Yes.
as the John Boat in Flower Bluff.
Right.
So we also heard this week that the paving of our paper streets, which is supposed to happen this year, is now going to be pushed off probably into a bond issue in 2026.
Right. Which means...
So you're saying that the potholes are going to continue? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Well,
we're
I'm
talking about
saying-
Sand Dollar and Crow's Nest.
Yeah, but the
specifically, yeah.
potholes will continue. But
Yes. Oh, the potholes will
But,
continue until vehicles fall apart.
Yes, but there's not enough money in the TERS to pave the two streets, so they're going to put, it sounds like it's going to be on, come up at the next ISAC meeting, but it sounds like they're going to put it on the bonds, see if there's enough money that can be redirected in the TERS from the paper streets to possibly build a skate park, but that's probably a ways down the road.
Yeah, I
That was
mean,
the idea.
they have 1.75 mil in the design and engineering for Sand Dollar and Crow's Nest. So, right, exactly. And then, yeah, the skate park, it was actually talked about at Parks and Recs.
But that's still got to run through engineering and all the bidding process. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
It's a year. I mean,
Yeah.
once you start a bond, and if it passes soundly next November, then you have a year before actual engineering drawings get started. So you're 2 years downrange.
Yeah.
At least before the first shovel of dirt is thrown.
We
so.
should mention before we get too far into the show that we lost Charlie Eckridge this week, who was the second employee at the old Corpus Padre Isles Country Club.
Oh, Charlie passed away?
He did, and he moved here in 1970 as a golf pro, and he was here. He stayed here ever since. He retired when Sleeterbond closed down the last 9 holes, whenever that was, 2020 or something like that. But I read a story. He wrote a series of stories for us some years ago, 15-part series on the history of the Padre Isles Country Club, and so
Yeah, it's a good one.
I pulled out the first one this week and read how it started. And one of the interesting things I thought was how they needed 100 members in the first year in order to make all their numbers. And the way they got there is women in Corpus Christi, women could not reserve a tee time before noon on any of the courses.
Interesting.
You had to go to had to be a man's name on the. So the Padre Isles Country Club allowed women, so all the women joined, and that's how they got their husbands
Right.
to join.
Charlie wrote a really great story about when Hurricane Allen came through.
I'm going to run that one in a few
and
weeks.
washed over the golf course,
Yeah.
and it basically killed everything. But he was able to turn on some sprinklers almost
Save the
immediately
greens.
and save the greens.
He spent Hurricane Allen in the clubhouse.
Wow, yeah.
He rode the storm out in the clubhouse, and we had most of the businesses on Padre Island if you had Hurricane Allen, would have about 3 feet of water in them.
Yeah, he'd love to show people the water line where it went up on the buildings
Yeah.
when they were still out there on the golf course. Pretty amazing times.
Were you here in '80?
I was. You bet.
Where did you ride out the storm?
I actually wrote it out in my home, and it was in the Turtle Cove subdivision of Flower Bluff.
Right.
By Lago's house was. He lived
okay.
over there.
I'm surprised you weren't at the radio station or the studio.
No, we were off the air, so it just didn't.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't. So when the storm actually came in, I guess it was August 10th of 1980. It was the worst thing, the scariest thing to listen to, not to see, because, well, it was rain and it was wind and all that, but it was the sound that came in, and you could actually hear the house shake, and you didn't know what was going to happen.
You didn't
So when
sleep.
people say that, people have gone through Celia in 1970, for example. They say the worst of it was the noise, the wind.
Harvey was the same way in Port A.
Yeah, because it was threatening. You didn't know if you were going to survive that, and it's
Right.
something that people don't want to go through again.
So Charlie wrote it out at the old country club, and he was able to, as you say, he saved the greens. He wrote it. He wrote about I think it was 15, either 11 or 15 parts. I can't remember. So it sent me digging through the archives, and so I'll start running those. He also brought. When they tore down the old country club, remember all those pictures that were on the walls and all of that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
It's now in boxes at the Moon office.
Oh, interesting.
Awaiting the establishment of the Island Museum.
Right.
And Dale's filing system is unique.
Oh, yes.
Oh, mine's
Boxes
sedimentary.
on top of boxes.
Mine's sedimentary, so yeah, the older stuff.
We
so.
do core sampling.
Yes.
Hey, look, there's the permit.
So we lost Charlie. The other news this week, we had the first reading on the hotel, the new hotel on Michael J. Ellis Seawall, the first new residential structure down there. It's 1983.
205 rooms and a conference
And
center.
a conference center.
No, that's great.
helped-
Much needed.
Greg helped get that one over the goal line, get started a few years ago. And so now they've gotten all their financing, everything is in place. I think they got some incentives if they provide jobs. I think it's 75 jobs at $38,500 a year, something like that.
Yeah.
So they're going to start building. It said the third quarter of this year, and they've been saying all along they'd be out there by September, October. So
Coming soon in 2019.
they also own 8.7 acres just south of that site, that borders that site, that it's probably going to be developed as something else coming soon, so we may see a second development. The Sandbox bar that's going in down there, they're making some progress. We talked to them this week a little bit, and they're starting to go vertical. And they've got the pickleball, the first mention of pickleball of the day. They got the pickleball courts in.
Yeah, good. I was driving by there the other night and noticed that there's not many street lights down there. And we also need another street light there at St.
They're
Augustine
not going to be
in
able to play
between Windward and
pickleball at night
Leeward.
if they don't get some street lights.
And I turned that into traffic, so we'll see where that goes as Greg giggles at the end of the table there.
Well, speaking of that, we don't know. We still have yet to determine whether or not we're going to have a stop sign or stop signs at the new Commodore's Bridge.
Right, and I can give you an answer on that.
Yeah?
It's not planned right now until it's needed. So
After
So
the
after
second
the first
accident,
several accidents.
I know, well, and that's why I asked my TxDOT guys who has to die before we can get a stop sign there. And they said, well, we've got to wait until the traffic shows that it's there, and they have to put a sign on the bridge. And so you got to get it approved by TxDOT, and you got to have the traffic study behind it.
I was going to say, where's the
That's how-
study? Where's the study
Gotta have a
coming? There's
study.
always got to be a
That's how
study.
the answer
is
That's how the sidewalk on Whitecap got built.
somebody got
died.
killed.
Right.
So
Unfortunately, Mary Ann's Way,
the
yeah.
answer then is the bridge will open with no stop signs,
Right,
right? I mean, that's the answer.
right.
And then we see what happens from there.
It'll open when it opens.
Well, that's the water under the bridge, right?
Right, yeah.
And speaking of seeing what happens, we're going to see what happens when we cut to a break real quick.
No.
And I'm going to grab some more coffee, and we'll be right on back in just a little bit with Island Moon Thursday.
From the first glass of water in the morning to the clean dishes after dinner and every refreshing shower in between, water is part of everything we do. That's why Corpus Christi Water works hard to provide safe, high-quality water you can trust. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has ranked Corpus Christi Water as a superior rated water system. Corpus Christi Water. Safe, reliable, trusted.
Are you ready to make your dream home a reality? Meet Miss Mortgage, Jenny Staff from All Western Mortgage. With over 30 years of experience in banking, mortgages, and real estate literacy, Jenny is your trusted partner from application to closing day. Known throughout the community as Ms. Mortgage, she specializes in residential real estate loans, making the process simple and stress-free. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking for alternative income loan options, Jenny provides clear, honest advice with no confusing jargon, just real solutions tailored to your goals. Tune in to her weekly Ms. Mortgage updates for insider tips, real estate trends, and success stories that inspire. She's committed to educating and empowering her clients every step of the way. Jenny Staff, your advocate, your expert, your teammate, from dream to done. Call or visit All Western Mortgage today and ask for Miss Mortgage, Jenny Staff. Call now, 361-946-7163, 595-176 NMLS number. They are an equal home lender.
Shining bright in Texas, the National Blue Ribbon School District of the Year, Corpus Christi ISD, is reaching some new heights. We are proud to be the HEB Excellence in Education Best District of the Year and home to the U.S. News and World Report's Best Public Elementary School. Excellence in early childhood education is our commitment, with our accolades from pre-K through graduation. Thanks to our community, we are building future leaders, innovators, and pioneers with nearly $20 million in scholarships in 2024 alone. And since 2008, $1 billion in taxpayer-approved bond packages, making for a renaissance era of education in CCISD with 20 new school buildings and 24 new elementary school libraries, all focused on student success. Join us in celebrating a century of education excellence. Corpus Christi Independent School District, where every learner is a graduate and every graduate is a success.
At the Port of Corpus Christi, we maintain a clear pathway for waterway commerce so that our customers can deliver goods and energy products to the communities who depend on them around the world. We work diligently to build and enhance critical maritime infrastructure and manage traffic 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Thank you, Coastal Bend Region, for entrusting us with your most precious asset.
Since 1966, Hicks Automotive Group in Corpus Christi has been your trusted family-owned dealership, offering the finest in Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Subaru, and Infiniti vehicles. Commitment to our customers extends beyond offering superior quality luxury automobiles and service. Hicks Automotive Group proudly supports our community through contributions to the Coastal Bend Food Bank, Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, and Ronald McDonald House, just to name a few. Visit Hicks Automotive Group, 3102 SPID, and experience the excellence that has kept our community strong for over 60 years. Hicks Automotive Group since 1966.
Retro Tejano 104.1 and Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3, and available worldwide on our app at Retro Radio CC. It's the Power Hour with Larry Elizondo, the Godfather, who makes street sense meet common sense. Now, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, it's Island Moon Thursdays.
Island Moon Thursday, it is 0731 on KUKA, Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3. Y también 104.1 Retro Tejano. This is Island Moon Live. We're glad you're with us on Larry Elizondo's Power Hour. It's a very kind of somber 9/11. 23 years ago, it all went down. I know there's going to be a lot of remembrances and things going on for that today. So always remember to take a second. Jay Gardner joining me, Tyler Thorson, Dale Rankin, Greg Smith, and Joe Gazen, and that's Ted Mandel hanging out in the back waiting to jump in just in case anybody says anything about the airline.
That floodgate over
Hang on, let me grab the... Hey, what was that? Say that again?
No, we're not on yet.
Yeah.
Pump us up. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
That again. Yeah.
Gotta get the mix right. And we're also, if you just go to YouTube, you can go to Island Moon Live, where the feed is perfect out of the headphones, but it's muddy on YouTube. So we'll run through and fix that this week and get that all sorted. But before we get to anything too crazy, what was last on the list? I know we had kind of a litany of things to run through today.
Yeah, I got two more things. Tyler will like this. They're getting creative at Parks and Recs Advisory Committee. So they've separated at the Oso Bay Learning, the Wetlands Center there.
Preserve.
So they've pulled out the Learning Center from the rest of the park. And so they're starting to charge for classrooms and using the conference area. So they're starting to try to make a little bit more money there. And that's the great thing about trying to get creative. And I'm glad Greg's on now because they're also trying to get creative on keeping the pools open longer, right? So the number was that they had to have, for the Bill Witt Center or the natatorium, they have to have 50 people a day at $5 to make it to just break even. And they were talking about $80,000 a year. They could keep it open. They could keep the pool open for a few more months. So, Greg, I'll reiterate this fun thing. So, Mark and I sits on the Parks and Recs with me. We're like, okay, corporate sponsors. Let's get some corporate sponsors to keep these pools open. So I started put on my thinking cap, and I said, well, I know some people that would love to support the local pools, like Seven Seas or the South Texas Water Authority, or people that are running the Evangeline, you know what I mean? But then Tyler chipped in and said, oh, no, just get some effluent water in totes, and we'll keep those pools topped off all the time.
With the cesspool.
Yes, Cess Engineering sponsoring a pool near you.
That's what the council was told on there, just for several $100 million. We'll take all that effluent and drop it just upstream from where we're picking our water up.
Right, and that's the plan. The consultant told them, and they're like, okay, well, let's get it done. So,
We're probably the last city in the country not doing that, aren't we?
Well,
everybody recycles their water.
Didn't you say the Colorado's got 30 different effluent things flowing into it to begin before we even get it?
Yes, that's a true story.
Not even counting the cows.
And so if people actually knew the story of our water, and there's a great paper out there called The History of the Water Supply of Corpus Christi, they might go run out and get RO systems in Britas.
We have 11 water systems upstream, right? Something like that.
At the minimum, yeah.
It's the wastewater system.
It's the wastewater systems that's what we care about. So we've been drinking downstream of the herd for many years.
Yeah. Getting back to
Which
the pool,
explains quite a bit, actually.
Right.
Right.
The coffee's a bit nutty.
Yeah, right.
the city needs to take a page out of the book of Parker Pool, because they've been doing that, or did that for years. You go by the pool on there, and you can have a 4x8, and I sponsored one. I think it was $500 for it.
Right, it's $600 for 3 hours. I got that rate the other day for Parker Pool.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, they had sponsorships.
Oh, yeah.
Because folks out there at Parker Pool, the community got together, the city closed the pool down. What can we do to keep our pool open? They got together, they ran the pool, and then the county came in. Thank you, Commissioner Chesney, on
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
Really started helping out big time. So that kept a community pool. So in this case, that's something that they ought to look at. Can we sell sponsorships? You get a banner for $500.
They're doing that at the Oso Bay Wetlands Learning Center. Coastman Bays and Estuaries has stepped up. Kirsten Stansel and the rest of them. So they're keeping that place afloat. Thank goodness.
I'm thinking of Andy's Kitchen. We'll have a little train going around with cars you can sponsor.
How many miles are those
Don't they do that now?
Yeah. I mean, the complete foundation repairs car, having like a little tiny thing of urethane behind him. Oh, look at that toad going by.
Okay, so pools that get cracked sometimes. Complete.
There you go.
Our first sponsorship.
There you go.
7901.
Yeah.
Well, they did. Speaking of Parks and Rec, they agreed to a maintenance plan for Village Park this week.
Okay.
The PIPOA, they approved that. Their POA is going to drill, I think it's 4 wells. Whatever happened, they're going to drill irrigation wells.
Sure.
And city is going to come in. They did some amendments to the agreement they signed back in 2017.
Right.
Have we heard anything about a skate park yet? What do we know about a skate park?
There's a lot of talk about a skate park, but it's still in phase 3 for Commodore Park. And Greg got it right there. So it's like they'll build it as soon as somebody else builds it.
I've got another question for you. They said the skate park's still 2 years away because it has to be a year if they do the bond, and it comes back, and then it has back for engineering. What about the TERS number 7? I'm like, because in my pea-brain thing, I'm thinking, wait, we're almost on phase 4 of water restrictions, and they're wanting to do a tours out in the London area, which is flat, has no drainage, and we're out of water. So let's bring in 400 more homes. But I was told by Gil Hernandez, they said, well, hopefully that'll be 3 years downrange before they get in, and hopefully we'll have a storm or something, and that we'll have some of that water coming in
That's
from
a
the
lot
pipelines.
of hopefullys.
Well, that's what I was thinking, too.
You turn your tap, see if any hopefully comes out.
Wishing one hand and hopefully the other.
And houses by nature are not designed for residential. You can only have 10% of residential with it. And,
Well, this is a county, city kind of thing.
ETJ, yeah.
Doesn't
you
matter.
got the PUDs and PIDs and PADs and PLUDs. And
It's all state rules.
Yes.
Okay, so I just threw it up there to see what sticks or doesn't. So I just thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe they should do rainwater collection out there.
Well, we're kind of at the
When does it
point.
rain?
Enough, actually. I think we're pushing like 20 inches this year, believe it or not, right here.
Right here.
So it's raining down on the coast. It's just not raining in the
Let's
watershed.
open dove season earlier.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I think so.
Well, they shortened it due to lack of rain, did they not? They said
I don't know.
the
No, lack of
number of
rain.
doves
We
was
got
down.
stiffed on one of the weeks in there because of the
Population.
Right. So
bird
yeah,
population.
so the bird populations are up. We're going to have a banner year, but I think they're expecting. It's counterintuitive. I think people are expecting to get more of their limits, and so they'll take more birds.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I like to do my part for conservation by missing most of the birds.
Oh
so
yeah.
do that
What,
anyway,
what did
so-
I do? I did 2 out of 5 the other day on ski.
Yeah.
2 out of 6.
My shoulder's out, so that there goes 10.
Yeah.
10 doves for the
At
whole
least
season.
for the whole season.
Yeah.
That's a limit for someone.
So it's the anniversary of the September 11.
Yep.
Has anybody been back to the site? You've been there, haven't you, Joe?
I have. And it was so
they
strange,
rebuilt it?
kind of surreal when I went, because that's one of the stops you want to go when you go to New
Yeah.
York. You want to go there and at least
Go
spend a
see
little bit of
Hamilton
time.
and go to the
I'm sorry,
Go
Freedom
see
Tower,
Hamilton
yeah.
and then go to the World Trade Center site.
I tell you, they have a tour that you can take up, and you go up there, and they give you a look at what happened and the timeline, and they have a lot of the artifacts and so forth, a lot of the structure of the buildings. They have left pretty much as they were, and beyond that, they tell the stories, obviously, of the people who lost their lives that day. But it is so intense. I will tell you that my wife Amy and I went one time just for that, and she couldn't go through the whole thing. And
Really?
it was that intense. So it is, I think, well preserved, the history of what happened in New York
It's
City.
one of those times when you remember where you were when that all
Absolutely.
happened.
Oh yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, where were you? I was listening to Lago, and
Sure,
my buddy
sure.
Skipper, because it was like 10 till 9.
Yeah.
And my buddy Skipper called, "Are you watching TV?" I said, "No." But at that time we thought it was just an accident. You're like, "Oh, plane hit
Right.
the-"
Well, sure. And I'll
That's
tell
what
you,
happened with me. I was asleep. I was visiting my parents in Oklahoma, and my mother came in and said an airplane just crashed in one of the World Trade Centers. I'd just been in New York. And I said, well, wake me up if it hits another one, because one's an accident. And sure enough, I realized what happened, and so a few hours later, I was headed back to work.
and I was just going to say that, of course, no matter what happens, you're going to, if you're working on television, you're going to be called in early that day. And so
Yeah.
I didn't wait for the call. I just put on the clothes and went.
Right, yeah. Find out if anybody from your town is on the planes.
It's true. And it's amazing how many people had either just been there or had some connection to the
I
World
just
Trade
come
Center.
back a few days before.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking to, I guess it was the city manager, was it David Garcia at the
Probably,
time?
yeah.
Who said that he was just at the restaurant like the previous week up in the tower. And, you know, it was...
Windows on the world. I
yeah,
got kicked out of there for wearing blue jeans.
You would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we were doing. We were talking to people who had connections. That was at that point, you know, the best we could do, and we were, you know, covering it from a local perspective. But it was just eerie. It was quiet. It was reverent. Just a strange kind of environment.
The one that got me the most was I mean, of course, all those things get you. You see the thing falling, thinking, how many people are in there?
Yeah.
But the one that killed me was the first responders, all those beepers from their from their that they wear in there when they're down.
Yeah.
You kept hearing all those little just beepers everywhere, just in that rubble. It's like, oh God.
Right.
All those police and fire guys.
Yeah. And it was one of those days where you knew you were going to be working, if you were in journalism of any kind, you knew you were going to be working
Those
nonstop.
are always tough stories to cover because there's not a whole lot of local angle usually.
True.
You're running around trying to find stuff that's not there.
And you're trying to answer people's questions as best you can, answer them correctly. And at that point, people had so many different questions. Who was responsible? Why did this happen? Where is this coming from?
And we were being pushed at the time, I recall, to do things that personally I hated. And that is where you take something that happens nationally and try to somehow relate it to, what would happen if, a similar explosion happened at the
downtown,
county courthouse or something. Come on, there's no relevance there at all, but that's what they push you to do, as Dale knows. And it's
That's
just so
when you go hide
relevant.
at Denny's.
Yeah.
Turn your phone off.
I'm working on it.
I send it to the FBI, yeah.
News at 10.
So this week, we've had, on the island, we've had, the other big story has been the issuance of a request for proposals to start the process of building a floodgate out by Lake Padre. We published some of that in this issue.
The POA is looking to do a study. Is that correct? Okay.
It was a request for quotations.
Correct.
Okay.
And the first round of it was priced at $250,000. We don't know the cost of this one. There's no cost in it, so we'll see what comes back. So it moved ahead to do something with the floodgate. We're also waiting to see about dredging down at the Encantada.
Right.
That looks like that's moving forward a little bit. And then, of course, at City Hall, they went to midnight, and we're talking about an investigation into some tax incentive money that went out, which is quite confusing to most of us, I think. From basically, they voted to hire an outside counsel. Is that correct?
That's correct. Somebody out of the area, an expert in the field. And what they want is, this is tax incentives, like you said, through the AB board. So they want to have somebody that's knowledgeable in those tax incentive programs, where all the I's dotted and T's crossed for this $2 million grant.
And how did we get here? It was, the tax incentive was provided to a downtown hotel.
The Homewood Suites, yeah.
And the application in the beginning claimed that they needed the money because the FEMA flood maps had changed the rules and they were going to have to change some elevations or something, right?
Right. So that historically the downtown, because of the seawall, was not required to have flood protection. The seawall was the flood protection, but that changed. And the first talk about that was around 2010. And then I believe it was 2020 that FEMA authorized the maps. Okay, this is under flood protection.
Right.
And the applicants came in there and said, "Oh, we didn't know about it. We need some money to to raise it with it."
Gully's been talking about that on this show off and on for a while, Brian Gully, because he was on one of those boards.
Yeah.
And it ended up at the council. It got 5 votes, but then it came out that there was a date was changed on the flood map.
A date was eliminated with it, so the date was the effective date of the map. And what was shown to staff on there was the map without the effective date.
Oh.
On there. So it was an omission with it. It was a screenshot.
I remember that. And somebody called it out during the meeting, if I remember.
Here was,
why did that matter?
Because they were coming in and kind of presenting, we don't know, weren't aware of the need, or it wasn't required at the time, and so that date preceded their application.
I got you. So they said they needed the money to comply with the new flood map.
That's right.
And the question then was when the flood map came out, and did they know before they started the project?
But what happened when it first went before the board sitting there and said, "Oh, I don't know about this," is qualifies anyway. You've got to provide economic jobs, things like that.
Because that's how the incentives work.
Yeah, so the board, the AB board, okayed it based on jobs and incentives. Now, the presentation they got was about the flood, but they said, we need incentives.
Right.
When it went to council after the board approved it, staff gave the original presentation, it was about flood, where the board approved it on incentives. So the first reading on council, council heard not the reason it was approved, but
The flood.
the original deal,
Gotcha.
because they didn't do the right presentation.
So the second time, they changed it?
The second time, they changed it to jobs and that kind of thing.
Boy, that'll get the conspiracy people up in the trees.
Well, that's part of the problem, that, here we had some staff errors and things on
That's when
there.
Dr. Gully was coming in and said, first of all, he said, I built 2 hotels and I got nothing because, for one thing, they say it's like, it's maids, it's service people, they're not making a lot of money, and that's
Yeah.
like the worst place to put your, was it type B funds or whatever?
Yeah.
They say that's, historically, you look and they say that's way down the list. It's like not a great thing to use for that. And I don't blame him. He was,
So the council, I watched the meeting, the last hour was fairly contentious.
That's a relative term in this council.
Yeah, and I was
still haven't
trying-
made it.
And they took a couple of votes, and they couldn't get to 5 votes. Then it turned out, then the feed cut off because it was midnight, and then later I found out that they didn't need 5 votes because they had 4 council members abstain, and when they abstained, they didn't count against the quorum.
Right.
And they abstained because they took political contributions from some of the people involved, and/or they have been deposed. Several of the council members have been deposed.
It was almost like city
ready.
this time.
I don't.
It was almost like city council. Well, they got so tired of sitting there watching public comment, they just got together and said, "Hold my beer." What's this?
That reminds me of the good old days of city council when Marvin Townsend was the city manager and Jason Luby was the mayor.
Yeah.
And he defied. You were here then. He defied everyone. He wouldn't leave, and they had to call the cops. And, we were covering it live, and I remember one time. Not that day, but another time, Luther Jones was the mayor. He actually threatened me with arrest if I didn't stop talking, because we were live, and what was I going to do?
Right.
Not fill it up with something.
And in the hot mic, Well, I can tell you from experience, getting arrested on camera is good television.
I know. I thought
From experience.
If you don't leave, sir, you're going to be arrested. Well, that's all right. We're in ratings.
Yeah.
I did shut it down because the mayor, Joe, he mentioned me by name. He said, "Joe, you will shut that down right now." and
back to you at the station.
when Colonel Jones would say that, I mean, you listen. But my boss at the time, the news director, a guy named Bob Gilmartin, was fit to be tied. He was upset at me for doing that.
So, Greg, where is they, to land the plane here, they hired an outside counsel?
Yeah, they did.
So what happens now?
Well, the outside counsel will probably give, and I'm just speculating here, folks, probably give an opinion on whether the transaction qualified under law.
So the question, as I understood it, the problem they got, the reason they were trying to take it to the FBI, I watched the presentation, and because of it was a federal document. The FEMA flood map is a federal document,
federal,
and it was entered into a meeting of record. That's where the potential is for some sort of legal problem.
Yes, an altered federal document on
That seems pretty flimsy.
And here's the big question on that: was that germane to the whole question?
Right.
Was it? This is where you get the counsel in there. Was it about jobs or was it about flood?
And that's why they're deposing them.
Yeah.
Well, I kept listening to the discussion. They were talking about, should we send it to the FBI? It's the oldest trick in the reporter's playbook, where somebody calls in and they say, "Hey, I just saw a spaceman land in my backyard." So you call the FBI and you go, "Hey, you guys hear anything about a spaceman landing in that backyard?" And they go, "Well, we can't comment on whether ongoing investigations or can't confirm or deny." So you do a story that says the FBI has been notified and won't confirm or deny.
Right.
And that's kind of, if you referred this
That
to
was
the
a
FBI.
yes.
And when you put it on the air, yes.
Yeah, that was a yes.
And so if this had been referred to the FBI, it's not coming back.
No, and there's been all kinds of public information on this. So if the FBI was interested, they're interested. If they're not,
Right.
it's not like you have to send it to them.
Right.
It's all over the city's website, these conversations, the depositions are well-known on there. Probably the funniest thing, they're talking about contributions, and one of our council members said, that doesn't apply to me because I've taken money from both sides.
Hey, welcome to Corpus. Yep. So now, I guess it's just kind of now it just comes down to who knew what and when did they know it, and then it's a he said, she said.
Yeah.
And a year from now, we'll all be going, hey, whatever happened with that?
And the city gets a nice-sized bill from an outside lawyer at $500 per hour.
Yeah, but the thing that struck me that was disturbing to me was listening to the council say, why wasn't it referred to the police department? You should know better than that. If you're sitting on that council, why did 4 of you abstain?
Yeah.
So you're going to give it to a police chief who is hired by the 4 people who abstained? Could there possibly be a conflict of interest?
I can never imagine
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
I can never imagine a spot where Chief Markle would squirm.
No, I could hear him at home. Don't send it over here.
He wouldn't squirm. He's too tough
He
for that.
doesn't want that hot potato, but the fact that the council is all saying send it to the police department, I found off-putting because they should know better than that. That's a non-starter.
Well, speaking of paying bills, we're going to jump to a commercial break really quick, and we will be right back just in time for the top of the hour, so stay tuned, friends.
At the Port of Corpus Christi, we maintain a clear pathway for waterway commerce so that our customers can deliver goods and energy products to the communities who depend on them around the world. We work diligently to build and enhance critical maritime infrastructure and manage traffic 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Thank you, Coastal Bend Region, for entrusting us with your most precious asset.
Shining bright in Texas, the National Blue Ribbon School District of the Year, Corpus Christi ISD, is reaching some new heights. We are proud to be the HEB Excellence in Education Best District of the Year and home to the U.S. News and World Report's Best Public Elementary School. Excellence in early childhood education is our commitment, with our accolades from pre-K through graduation. Thanks to our community, we are building future leaders, innovators, and pioneers with nearly $20 million in scholarships in 2024 alone. And since 2008, $1 billion in taxpayer-approved bond packages, making for a renaissance era of education in CCISD with 20 new school buildings and 24 new elementary school libraries, all focused on student success. Join us in celebrating a century of education excellence. Corpus Christi Independent School District, where every learner is a graduate and every graduate is a success.
Attention, Corpus Christi. This is a powerful message from LULAC Council Number 1, located right here in the cradle of the fight for equality. Since 1929, LULAC has been dedicated to the important work of championing civil rights, improving education, and empowering the community. For nearly a century, the organization has stood as a pillar of advocacy and progress. From beloved events like the Feria de las Flores to impactful initiatives such as the Judge Bobby Galvan Toy Bowl, LULAC Council Number 1 continues to make a significant difference in the lives of local residents. Their various programs uplift the community and create opportunities for growth. As LULAC Council Number 1 looks ahead to its centennial celebration in 2029, the organization invites the community to join hands with LULAC and become part of the ongoing change by visiting LULAC.org. Together, Corpus Christi can uplift its community, defend its rights, and shape a brighter future for everyone.
Since 1966, Hicks Automotive Group in Corpus Christi has been your trusted family-owned dealership, offering the finest in Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Subaru, and Infiniti vehicles. Commitment to our customers extends beyond offering superior quality luxury automobiles and service. Hicks Automotive Group proudly supports our community through contributions to the Coastal Bend Food Bank, Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, and Ronald McDonald House, just to name a few. Visit Hicks Automotive Group, 3102 SPID, and experience the excellence that has kept our community strong for over 60 years. Hicks Automotive Group since 1966.
Retro Tejano 104.1 and Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3, and available worldwide on our app at Retro Radio CC. It's the Power Hour with Larry Elizondo, the Godfather, who makes street sense meet common sense. Now, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, it's Island Moon Thursdays.
A little trip tonight for you there. A nice little tropical sound to that. And some lyrics that always make me smile. That's something I don't really hear people say too often. Thank you, tequila. Yeah, it's
you know, we should. I've been meaning to tell you, we need to get Patsy Jones. That's My Island is our bump music. She had the rights to that. We can play that one.
yeah. As long as it won't pull a copyright strike from anywhere, we're good. Let's rock it. Yeah.
We have. I think we just had Ken Olberg and Party Roll Up. Before they take the mic, there's something I want to touch on here. I've been trying for the last couple of weeks to get some information on what's going on out at CCAD and the Naval Air Station in terms of jobs. There's some jobs going away at the end of September due to some contracts that are ending. I've had no luck talking to anyone.
And they're getting rid of 2 helicopters, the Apache and Blackhawks, I think.
Yes.
The whole units are going someplace else.
So the question is, what's going on out there? And I know there's been some back and forth with D.C. There is no information that I can find coming out of the base or the union. I've been trying to get in touch with the union steward out there for 2 weeks.
Right.
And no one's saying anything. They're, as Greg says, they're ominously quiet. So we're not hard to find here at the Radio Ranch or at the Island News.
Yeah, right.
If anyone has information they can share with us, please get in contact with us.
And my contacts that I reached out to, radio silence as well.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
I'll tell you there's something going on, we don't know what.
Yeah, well, we will we'll definitely let us know, and we'll pass on the information as soon as we get it. Speaking of radio silence, there's no silence on KUKA Driscoll,
That's
Texas.
right, exactly.
105.9 and 103.3. We're also on Retro Tejano 104.1. We are glad you're joining us for Larry Elizondo's Power Hour. This is an Island Moon Thursday where we do our special show live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, where they've got the best crab stuffed flounder. I always try and get something else off the menu, but I end up going back to the crab stuffed flounder and keep going back to that. The grilled lemon caper tuna is actually really good as well. All kinds of different good stuff that people will really enjoy. If you haven't been here and really checked out a sunset, it's worth coming. You get to brag to your friends about how awesome it is out here, and we get to live in such a beautiful place. They've got all kinds of things. They've got stuff from land too. It's not just all seafood. And so jump on out, grab the Doc's Yardbird and give that a shot. We've got Kent Olberg jumping in. We're getting everybody situated right now, as well as Denise and Matthew Thornton. And we will get these mics up and start figuring all this out. All right, let's see. To my right, I've got Joe Gazin.
All right. We moved a little bit. Is there a
Yes,
difference?
we did a little shift there.
Okay,
And you
how
have
you
to
doing?
just talk right into the side of the microphone, just aim right at the logo.
Okay,
And get right on it. So that we have to set the mics up this way, because if not, if we just have them on, it sounds like people have a seagull sitting on their shoulder.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So is that okay?
Perfect.
Okay.
Excellent. Kent, world-renowned sculptor, thanks again for being on the show. It's glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know we've got the Wind in the Sails is actually, you guys have done this isn't the debut, but you're doing a screening, right?
No. Well, we've got a screening on Friday at the Tammy CC PAC.
Okay.
And we have screened it, but the film's actually kind of in the process of being whittled down a little bit.
Okay.
For a PBS broadcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
That PBS broadcast is with PBS Texas, and it has to eventually be 56 minutes and 46 seconds. It started at 92 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's a significant amount of
Yeah. So we're at 74 now, but at this point we're whittled down to everything that's in the film is pretty well relevant to this area.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to cut too much when we're showing it to this community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So it doesn't show me in Africa or anything.
It does. It does. It still does. It still does. That part's keeping for everything. Yeah.
Kent asked us if we cut him out of the movie when we.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That'd
We
be
assured
nice,
him we
and
didn't.
I'm free.
Yeah, it's just a
I don't have
couple
to
shots
sit
of
with
you
this
holding
bloody
a
thing on my nose.
Yeah, you holding a file, and that's it. And then that's back to the sculptures. That's awesome. So, how did this process start with the movie? Where'd you? Where's the?
Actually, it started right over on the dock over there behind Snoopy's. My mom and dad invited me to, because Denise and I, my wife and I, had started our production company, and we were both full-time teachers. We were doing it on the side, and 2022 kind of took a turn and things picked up. So I went full-time with the production company, and she runs the business side of it. We were kind of looking for a project. And my mom said, well, obviously we had known Ken and Virla for a long time through my mom having taught their sons.
Yeah.
And so
She was a great teacher, fantastic teacher.
yeah, she definitely was the impetus for a lot of this, because she brought up the idea that, I always thought there should have been a movie made about Kent Oldberg, and I said, wow, that's interesting. And sure enough, we got together for dinner at Snoopy's, and by the end of it, we had formed like a loose idea to do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did the podcast, and it just started. That was late 2022, and it's just been kind of, it evolved from there.
And you realize there's something there. We need to do this.
Yes.
I
don't know why the hell.
the interesting thing about Kent Oldberg is that locally, and Kent and I go way back
Yes.
to the early days of my being in Corpus Christi. And I learned right away that Kent here is considered a great artist. Don't get me wrong, he's fine, but people here consider him to be a regular
He's a neighbor.
resident, one of the people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And yet in certain international communities, he's a superstar. He is absolutely revered as one of the best sculptors ever.
Yeah. Yeah, we were in Jackson Hole to shoot Waiting for Sockeye, the bear that overlooks the mountains there.
Oh, yeah.
By the Elks lot,
Yeah,
the
that was the
Elk
first.
Reserve.
That was the first sculpture. I worked with the architect. It was the very first sculpture.
That was put in for that.
Yeah, when the building was being built.
Well, that museum's now, I think, the main wildlife art museum in the country.
Mm-hmm.
We were there to shoot it, and right next to Kent's pieces,
Rodin.
you had Rodin sculptures, and you had all of these, like,
Yeah.
I was thinking,
Remington
man,
who?
Yeah. and Oldberg right next to it.
Yeah. That's outstanding. So have you've seen the video, the movie? I'm assuming. What do you think of it? What were your initial impressions when you first came in and saw it?
I think it's fantastic, but I don't know if people are going to put up with it. Watch every little detail of my life, but these guys are good movie makers.
Outstanding.
They make a good job. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's always interesting, and I think there's a special place in history for recording a lot of this, just so future generations can have some kind of insight into, like what it takes to have a career as an artist.
It's all about editing. Editing is the key.
Yeah.
That's what makes people watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I think what you just said is also why we decided to make a whole movie about it, because I've done all kinds of different jobs. I always wanted to be a filmmaker, but it wasn't always a way to make a living as far as I was able to experience it, you know. So I worked and taught and made movies on the side,
Yeah.
But in talking to him, it was real inspirational to me, because as a younger artist, or at least younger filmmaker,
That's an artist.
and I needed to have some idea that this is the path for anybody who wants to make it. You're going to have to go through it, and his journey is pretty much the longest version of that tale. And to me, I thought artists could use that message, because he hung in there, he stuck with it, he never wavered. He was fine doing it on the side. I think that's what you say in the movie is, I would have sculpted if it was illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my I used to tell my students, you know, I taught painting and drawing for graphics at A&M Corpus for a while, and I absolutely love teaching. And you know, I got blessed enough to where I was busy enough to not have to go teach all the time.
Yep.
But one of the things I would always tell my students is, look, if you want to be an artist, you got to be able to hunt it, kill it, clean it, and cook it. And so many people, you know, don't understand that a lot of the art that you do is maybe 20% of a lot of the other sales and marketing and invoicing and taxes that goes into all this stuff. Luckily, I mean, she's over here shaking her head like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been watching what she's been doing since the movie's been getting close to being finished, and we continue.
Yeah.
I don't even understand the half of it.
I'd be curious to know, I mean, how you got started. What was it that inspired you to begin sculpting?
Oh God, I started early in Sweden already.
Yeah.
I grew up in Sweden.
Right.
And I always was interested in nature. I grew up in a fishing village.
Right.
And I always felt close to nature. In fact, when I was feeling depressed and stuff, you know, bullied in school or whatever, I'd go and lay in nature, you know, in the woods by the fishing village on the island there, and listen to the birds, to the migratory birds, and it always raised my heart.
Right.
And then I entered art school, you know, in Stockholm, Swedish College of Art. And we sculpted from real life, from live models and stuff. That was great. And then after the first year, now we're supposed to do our own thing, they said. And I sculpted realism, you know, and the teacher said, no, that's not the language of our time. And it wasn't in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're supposed
Was
to
it
do...
abstract?
Abstract, totally abstract, totally. And I still sculpted, and he said, you never make a living. And he was concerned, he was a nice teacher. You never make a living in this kind of shit. You know, so I took the other route. I became a museum curator. I became a first an apprentice at the National Museum in Stockholm.
Wow.
You know, of natural history. And then I studied in Germany, in France. I learned to speak German, and you know, and
so it was a natural progression for you.
well, it wasn't really, because I was sculpted
Like I
on
said,
the
it
side.
wasn't really a natural progression.
Well, it wasn't. No. I sculpted on the side. I always sculpted on the
Yeah.
side. I always did. You know, I always did little pieces. And when I mounted an animal for the museum, you know, today a modern taxidermy, you sculpt it in clay and make a mold, and then you glue the skin to it. You know, and I made little models first. You know, and I cast those and stuff. But then I always dreamt of Africa, you know. I read Hemingway's books about Africa, and Hemingway in Swedish is great.
Yeah. Now you have obviously a number of pieces in Corpus Christi. I'm
Yeah.
curious to know which one is your favorite.
That's kind of hard to say. I think,
Jesus is watching, I'm just saying.
oh yes, of course, Jesus, but that I can't say. You know. Jesus, you're always there watching. But Wind in the Sails.
I would say that. I was going to pick that. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
which
thought,
is what they named the thing from.
Right.
And it is an old saying. I grew up in a fishing village, and they always wish they go out in the North Sea. They go all the way across to England, you know, and sometimes all the way up to Iceland. In the old days, they sailed. You know, my great-grandfather, and before you leave, they wish you wind in the sails.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a well wish, and they always said that when we stepped on board, and we worked in the summers, worked in the fishing fleet. Wind in the sails. And so that was the first public sculpture on Ocean Drive.
Right.
Was the Wind in the Sails, the two sailfish. And I called it Wind in the Sails because in those days, it was just a fishing fleet.
Yeah.
There was the shrimp boats there. Not that many pressure boats, mostly shrimp boats, you know. I wish them Wind in the Sails.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously magnificent.
Oh, thank you.
Where does the dolphin sculpture rank out here on the island?
Say again, Dan?
The dolphins on the island. Where does that rank in your estimation?
And the Marlins, the ones over the
Marlins,
bridge?
yeah.
Oh, the marlin here.
Leaping
Here on the
Marlin.
island, yeah.
Yeah.
When I say dolphins, yeah.
I love it.
Marlin, dolphin.
I love it, yeah, absolutely, because I love marlin, you know.
Yeah.
I love billfish.
And that became essentially our symbol for
Yeah, for the island,
life.
yeah, exactly.
Which is way better than like a seagull or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Flying rats.
And then it's the Jesus statue, of course. which is quite a challenge, you know.
So
For me,
I was curious, you know, and I actually I think I saw a video about this. When you were building the Jesus sculpture, there was science and everything that went into sculpting the face, right?
Yeah.
And you did actual research into what the face of Jesus might look like.
Might look like, yeah. Certainly from somebody from Palestine at that time.
Yeah.
You know. And yeah, I had several things, but then I came up with the idea of putting him in a fishing boat.
Yeah.
I was a fisherman after all, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
And stuff. And the committee, I mean, very, very committed committee, you know. I said, no. How the hell do you know what a fishing boat looked like in those days, you know? Well, it so happens that they found a boat in the sea in Gennesaret.
Really?
From the period.
Yeah.
And the museum, and I had old museum contact, you know. They sent me pictures and dimensions.
Really?
And so I
That's
used that to scale.
Incredible.
And then I presented that, and they couldn't say no anymore, you know.
Can I ask your age? How old are you now?
How old I am?
Yes.
I am exactly 80.
80.
I'm 80 years old. 15th of July this year I turned 80.
Well, you
Nice.
look
And-
great. And
Thank you. Thank you.
And everything is good for you?
Yeah.
Health-wise?
Yeah,
Good.
it's fairly good, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel a bit older.
Listen, yeah, you're preaching to the choir there. But
How old are you?
I'm 74.
You got 6 years to go.
I do. I do.
Shit, if you
And,
know what I did
and by the time I get to be 80, I hope I'm doing as well as you.
in the last 6 years, I mean, I did a lot of sculptures.
I know. I know.
Staying busy. Well, so, okay, the Wind in the Sails, the film is, you're doing a showing here tomorrow night at the Performing Arts Center at A&M Corpus. Where are you headed after this?
Denise, you want to talk about that?
We have a screening in Austin on September 26th at the Austin Film Society Cinema. We're members of Austin Film Society as well. And then we were invited to go to South Carolina to Brook Green Gardens, which is the largest sculpture garden in the nation.
Yeah.
And they do their National Sculpture Society Awards ceremony. And so they thought everybody will be there. So let's show Kent's film. So Kent and Virla are going to join us too, and we're going there in October 25th.
That's awesome. And if people want to find out information on your company and then more about this film, where would they go?
Probably just mainly our website. I'll let you do that again too.
Yeah,
So-
it's griffinco.com, but it's spelled funny. It's GRIFFYNCO. So griffinco.com. And there's a link on there that says Olberg Film. They can follow along to all of the updates. They can watch the trailer, see
cool.
So so
And you will be doing a special cut for air on PBS?
Yeah, so that's kind of, again, that's sort of what, at least on her end, it's very different because she's doing all of the what's next and branding and marketing and all that stuff. For me, it's really just getting that cut ready for them by, it's going to air in May of 26, but I mean, obviously I'll have to turn it in earlier than that. So yeah, there's quite a lot that goes into PBS specs and things like that. If you ever distribute a movie and you can get away with distributing it on PBS, then you're pretty sure it's good for any streaming network there is.
If there is a PBS in the future.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. With the president cutting it.
That's another big reason why this has been such a honor, but also we want to do right by them and KEDT.
It could be one of the final productions that they do.
hope not.
Yes.
So, Kent, you've sculpted just numerous, almost innumerous, fish and wildlife, everything from, buffalo, bison, bears, elephants, everything. What fish and what animal really speaks to you the most? What do you kind of identify with as far as, like, what people will call your totem, right? I'm always curious because I have my favorites, and I'm curious to see what yours are.
It's very difficult because I've seen them all over the world, and I fished all over the world too. With Guy Harvey, we fished in the world's oceans and diving. I'm a diver. I served my military duty in Swedish SEALs. So I dove in the Baltic and around Russia and everywhere, And So it's very, very difficult. But, you know, when I raised 2 boys here on the island, we had a boat, and we spent nights offshore and stuff. Billfish certainly is one of my favorites, you know, because we didn't have them in the Baltic or in the North Sea. You know, when I grew up, it was cold there, you know.
Yeah.
And stuff, and so, you know, I mean, marlin, you know, 1,000-pound marlin would be very nice.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I think back to the history of old fishermen and the kind of myths and the kind of mystic nature of billfish back in the day, and just the fact that it took so much to get them. And when people would bring these monsters inshore, you know, I could just imagine all these kids in little fishing villages just with their mind blown about all these amazing sea creatures out there with a sword attached to their face. Like, it's, you know, it's just one of those things.
That section of the film, we kind of talked, and we were able to interview Guy Harvey for it, and he was gracious. Actually, Kent, they both had footage of their old expeditions, and seeing some of the fish that they were swimming with. It just rang a bell what you just said. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, you guys were swimming close to those marlin.
Oh yeah.
Sailfish.
Shark.
And shark too, yeah. But Guy Harvey was my, he was great at anatomy. You know, he has a PhD in marine biology.
Yeah.
And he really picked on my anatomy everywhere, you know. We discussed it. We dissected several fish, several marlin, you know, hanging there. We dissected them, and I sculpted them on site and to make sure they're accurate.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not just about accuracy, but the honesty of reproducing the way they really are, you know. You bring honesty to it, you know, all that you can do, you know. Yeah.
Exactly. So does that make abstract artists dishonest? Because I agree with you on that. Ipso facto. Yeah, so take that, abstract artist.
Well, see, when abstraction started, you know, they wanted to renew, they wanted to do different, they wanted to, and they do different things, you know, coming from the heart too, but they're different inspiration. You know, nature is my inspiration normally, you know, and sometimes people, but mostly nature, you know.
Yeah.
And abstract art, you know, it changes. There's always changes in the world, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at Gauguin and, you know, the French Impressionists and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
How they changed. They didn't want to paint the same, you know.
Well,
and I understand if you're a painter or sculptor and you have a master that is very famous, you can't sculpt exactly the same thing or paint. You have to come up with something new. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's always been new, and it's honest, you know.
Yeah.
It's not, they're not dishonest, they're just trying to come up with a new way of expressing themselves.
Well, I used to have a saying, and I had an assignment in one of my classes, it's called good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Yeah.
And so I wanted, you know, these kids would say, you know, this is whoever this artist is my kind of, I like his style, it's my inspiration. I said, okay, you're going to do a perfect copy of one of these paintings, and you get to choose. And some of them would take on these, you know, really like elaborate Degas and other stuff like that. And when they realized how difficult it was to reproduce that accurately, it really opened their eyes to kind of the actual natural skill and talent and the dedication that it takes to hone a craft, you know. And that's one of the things that I always realize when I see one of your sculptures is the fact that it's taken so much attention and notice to detail and understanding that, you know, you're not just leaving this to, hey, this is kind of how I feel this day. There's a representation there, and I mean that in the best way. There's a representation there that gives honor to the, you know, to the animal.
To the animal. And sometimes I do stylized, you know. Not always, but sometimes I feel like doing something new, you know.
Yeah. Well, you've got.
But Wind in the Sails has an abstract quality to it because it's interesting from all sides.
Yeah, it is. But I also have an abstract version of Wind in the Sails. About a 20-foot version in stainless steel in Stockholm, in Sweden.
Yes.
In stainless steel, and then I have one in Denmark in bronze. So I have some of my stuff all over the bloody place.
There's one at Texas A&M Corpus Christi here in town. That's an abstraction of it's like a great heron, I believe. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like a 3-panel
Yep.
kind of abstraction
yeah.
on it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
Tell her that, yeah, the evolution.
that's in the art museum. Yeah, and that was inspired by a French impressionist. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. No,
Matisse.
Matisse, exactly. You know, and he had a female figure. He went through probably the same thing as I did. You know, earlier, of course. And he sculpted a totally realistic, or fairly realistic female sort of impressionist. And then he did medium, totally more abstract, and then one totally abstract. And then when I first saw that in Paris, then I realized, yes, that's the process. That's how it goes.
It's it's almost like a deconstruction of form.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But it's still there, you know.
Yeah.
It's still express the creature, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such an interesting one, and maybe my favorite, because it not only speaks to what his journey is, but it also is really strange to watch how this becomes a 3D thing by the end. And it's like totally hanging off the wall, and they got it at the art museum, and they also have that one hanging in Jackson Hole. But it's incredible. Yeah.
Kent, is anything in the works? Are you still working with?
I'm still working with.
Yeah, are you still
Sculpting.
producing art?
Yeah, I'm doing mostly smaller stuff, you know, for shows. I'm still participating in how about places, the Cabo Hall of Fame.
Yes.
You know, that was my first. When I first came here, I worked in Africa. I lived in Botswana 7 years. I was the curator for Botswana's National Museum, and I spent a dream time in the bush, collecting animals. You know, I shot all the big dangerous animals and everything else. And then my boss was the chief game warden of Botswana. And he sent me out as a control officer, you know. And I shot stuff. And then I skinned them for the museum, you know. And I created dioramas, painted the murals and stuff like that. But I always sculpted on the side. I always dreamt of it. And I did portraits of Botswana's president, for example, in bronze, you know, and stuff. And then the Denver Museum of Nature and Science came on an expedition to Botswana. They were creating a new African exhibit, African hall, a big hall. And of course I was their guide, you know. I was told by my boss, you know, stay with them and so I
Make sure they
guided them.
don't wander off.
Yeah, well, and make sure they don't get hurt.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
And we shot all the different animals, and I spent several weeks together in the bush together with them, around campfires. And we partied at night, and I found out the Americans are fun people.
But you're producing smaller pieces now, you said.
Well,
Even
yes.
that octopus that you made,
Yeah.
that one's bigger.
Yeah, oh yeah. And there's still questions, you know. There's still questions about creating a sculpture for on the beach here, you know, where the parking is when you go to the beach. We're discussing it, you know, and talking about it.
People have been talking about putting something there for a long time. I really hope you can get something done, because it's just kind of an iconic place for us right at the beach. You know, it just seems like unused space right now. And hope to see something like that kind of come in. We're going to take a quick little promotional break and be right back with Denise and Matthew Thornton and Joe Gazin. My name is Jacob Oggs, and we will be right back with world-renowned sculptor Kent Olberg. So everyone stick around with us. We will be back in just a minute.
All right.
From the first glass of water in the morning to the clean dishes after dinner and every refreshing shower in between, water is part of everything we do. That's why Corpus Christi Water works hard to provide safe, high-quality water you can trust. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has ranked Corpus Christi Water as a superior rated water system. Corpus Christi Water. Safe, reliable, trusted.
What's your case worth? What's your freedom worth? Your property, your livelihood. Leon Law PLLC is here in the flesh to hunt and to attack. From Corpus Getty to Tejas Getty, we know the rules and we know how to win. Serving all 254 counties across Texas and beyond. Call 833-LEON-WIN or visit LeonLaw361.com. Personal injury, criminal law, title closings, Leon Law. When it's time to fight, bring the lion.
shining bright in Texas, the National Blue Ribbon School District of the Year, Corpus Christi ISD, is reaching some new heights. We are proud to be the HEB Excellence in Education Best District of the Year and home to the U.S. News and World Report's Best Public Elementary School. Excellence in early childhood education is our commitment, with our accolades from pre-K through graduation. Thanks to our community, we are building future leaders, innovators, and pioneers with nearly $20 million in scholarships in 2024 alone. And since 2008, $1 billion in taxpayer-approved bond packages, making for a renaissance era of education in CCISD with 20 new school buildings and 24 new elementary school libraries, all focused on student success. Join us in celebrating a century of education excellence. Corpus Christi Independent School District, where every learner is a graduate and every graduate is a success.
At the Port of Corpus Christi, we maintain a clear pathway for waterway commerce so that our customers can deliver goods and energy products to the communities who depend on them around the world. We work diligently to build and enhance critical maritime infrastructure and manage traffic 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Thank you, Coastal Bend Region, for entrusting us with your most precious asset.
Since 1966, Hicks Automotive Group in Corpus Christi has been your trusted family-owned dealership, offering the finest in Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Subaru, and Infiniti vehicles. Commitment to our customers extends beyond offering superior quality luxury automobiles and service. Hicks Automotive Group proudly supports our community through contributions to the Coastal Bend Food Bank, Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, and Ronald McDonald House, just to name a few. Visit Hicks Automotive Group, 3102 SPID, and experience the excellence that has kept our community strong for over 60 years. Hicks Automotive Group since 1966.
Retro Tejano 104.1 and Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3, and available worldwide on our app at Retro Radio CC. It's the Power Hour with Larry Elizondo, the Godfather, who makes street sense meet common sense. Now, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, it's Island Moon Thursdays.
That's right. It is Island Moon Thursdays. It is 8:30 on a beautiful 9/11. There's a little breeze right now, but I wish there was a little more. We're right in the lee of it right here, sitting here at Doc's Seafood and Steaks. Denise and Matthew Thornton. We've got Kent Olberg, Tyler Thorson, Joe Gazen. My name is Jacob Oggs. Kent, let's just jump right back into it. I wondered, as an artist, you're going through a bunch of kind of not just trials and tribulations. There are some things, some days when work is going well, some days when work is really difficult. Was there one project that was just a big pain in the butt for you that you finally got done and you were like, oh my gosh? What were some of the most challenging sculptures or something you've done?
I think the most challenging was the big installation I did in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
I worked on it for about 9 years. And it takes up 8 city blocks.
Oh my goodness!
And it was incredible. It starts at the fountain, but then it starts actually as some geese, some bison running from 8 blocks away, and then run up, and then they run and scare the geese out of the fountain. And they're over life size.
Yeah.
And it was a tremendous challenge. It was an incredible challenge. Because I wanted everything to be right anatomically and everything else, So I had to have dissect bison,
Mm-hmm.
A neighbor in Loveland, Colorado, had a bison herd, and he was going to cull the herd, to take some out. So I went up and got one and dissected it in the studio. And I don't sculpt things that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I like to go directly from nature, because that's why. I could sculpt an abstract bison from heart, that's no big deal, or anything, but the thing is, you need to come from knowledge to be able to speak honestly about them and show your interest and your love for it, is if you come directly from nature.
Why sculpturing and not painting or some other form of art?
I don't know. My dad was a painter. He was a plein air landscape painter. And I painted outdoors with him quite a bit. But sculpture was more for real to me. You know, I played in clay as a kid already. You know, I started as a kid playing in plasticine. And in fact, I still play in plasticine. I have probably about 5 tons of plasticine in my studio. You know?
Do you see the sculpture in there and just like carve it out in your mind, or do you change your mind and go, I'll put some more?
Oh, I put
putty
more,
back on?
put more all the time, and
so-
take off, put on, take off.
So you were like more like I guess Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Like you dissect things to get the tendon is not in the right spot, or the vein or the muscle is not in the right spot, or
right.
the shoulder muscle needs to stick out more, or the hump on the back.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
After I've dissected, I know it by heart, and I have sketches and stuff. But when I do it for the first time, certainly, yes, indeed.
Well, that Omaha installation, I think is it 58 pieces in total
Yeah.
between geese and it's like 9 bison and
Yeah.
58 geese. It's actually more. Yeah.
58 geese and 9 bison. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever are in Omaha, just go downtown. It's First National Bank of Omaha. It's incredible.
Is that the one that there's one that starts right at the Missouri River? Is that the one you're talking about? Is it close?
Yeah, actually, and there's actually 3 sculptors involved. He did one half of it, which is all the wildlife nature part, and then these other 2 did the
wagon train.
The wagon train with the settlers sort of meeting.
Yeah,
and
I've seen
the
that.
settlers kind of scare the bison. The bison
Mm-hmm.
scare the geese, and everything's running through the walls and flying through the walls, and it's just it's wild.
Yeah, I wanted to engage the buildings, you know, and so and as because they were there first, and then the building came up, but the spirit is still there. I call the sculpture the spirit of wilderness, and they're flying through walls and everything. And then when they enter the modern urban landscape, they gradually become stainless steel. I thought geese have a white cheek patch, so I made that in stainless steel and a white chest, and then finally flying to the brand new bank building. Then was brand new. They're all polished stainless steel, flying it, hanging in the ceiling, and they're larger than life geese, you know.
How
So
much
they-
do they weigh? Do you remember?
Oh God! Each goose.
You can imagine, yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. About 250 pounds, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine them being on your golf course.
300, 300 pounds. Yeah. And I imagine them falling off because I had them on the parking garages.
Mhm.
I used city traffic lights to put them on, and street lights, and make them fly, you know. And of course, I was thinking, what if it falls off, you know? So I had to make sure that
Yeah.
they were safe.
That's wild. So, and you're still, you know, sculpting, doing a lot of smaller things. What, any kind of fun new ideas or something you're excited about working on next?
Well, I always see things around that excites me, you know.
Mhm.
And I mean, like we have mockingbirds around, and they sit there and they're loud as hell, you know, and they're aggressive. And I remember listening to the mockingbird, you know. So I did a sculpture of that, you know, of a mockingbird sitting there, you know, and really puffed up and tail down, and you know, and stuff. But
Strong mockingbird.
yeah, strong mockingbird, exactly.
The one of the ones, the getting and studying directly from nature stuff, I really always, you know, but when you did they're not Velociraptor, it's Deinonychus, you didn't get to study that directly, so maybe you could tell.
Well, I did study it fairly well, though, because it so happened that I worked with a man who discovered them, you know, dug them out.
Oh, wow.
So I traveled back and forth. He was working in the university back east, you know, north of New York. And so I traveled back and forth with my maquette, with my model. And we looked at the bones. He had dissected a whole skeleton almost, you know, and come up with different ideas and stuff like that. So I worked directly with him, and of course I know enough about anatomy. And when I know the bones, I know what attaches where. So I think it's pretty damn accurate, you know.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is when we hold it there, you know, do you remember they used to have radio,
CB radio.
CB radio and stuff like that? And the guy said several times, "Hey guys, did you see that? 2 screwing lizards coming by."
Have you ever seen the piece that's like that?
They're attached to each other, running together, you know.
Yeah. Well, those are at the Drexel Museum in Philadelphia, and the weird part is that my first impression of it was this looks like the raptors out of Jurassic Park.
Exactly.
But why? There's a reason for that.
Yes. The guy who did the raptors, you know, who drew the raptors for the movie, he was a friend of mine. And so I sent him pictures, you know, because I worked directly with the guy who discovered them.
Yeah.
So then they look exactly like mine. And so when people see them, it's, "You got that from Jurassic Park, didn't you?" I said, "Oh, yes, yes."
Yeah. That's wild. How funny. So, Wind in the Sails this Friday at Performing Arts Center at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And people can go to griffinco.com, GRIFFYNCO.com to get more information. What, now that you're, I guess, kind of towards the end of this, what new projects do you have your eyes on? I know you guys are doing Austin and the film festival there later.
Yeah, I mean, there's always ideas and stuff. There's always new things popping up. Right now, I am very focused on getting this delivered accurately for PBS, but once that's done, we've actually started a podcast. I was a Texas history teacher for many years, so we started a podcast called Lone Star Lore, and we're actually in the middle of, we've recorded about 8 or 9 episodes, and I'm editing and shaping those. I met with a writer, she's actually a writer, but she history department at Texas State. She retired.
There's no shortage of that, is there?
Yeah. And so she's agreed to do a lot of the writing, and essentially we're telling Texas history stories, either ones that are lesser known or ones that are well known, but from, you know, spinning the ball a little bit, seeing it from a different perspective. You know?
Yeah. Well, and you know, a lot of that history, especially a lot of ancient and oral history that gets passed down, gets run through a game of telephone.
Yes.
You know,
yes, so true.
And the goal of that one is eventually, out of those stories, the formula we've learned is if you do a podcast, you can find a story within that podcast. And so hopefully those will turn into either episodic, like an episodic series, or a movie.
Yeah, the hope will be to find the next, so maybe narrative project, maybe documentary project. But like when we got to, with Kent, we started with that podcast, it was a 3-hour podcast. And that allowed us to create an outline, and it was like, all right, we're not going to make a 3-hour movie, but how can we build this out? And we've been doing that, cutting it down ever since. So for us, we just found like it was a good way of working to start with podcast and let people just come on and spill everything out. Let's put all of the pieces on the table here, and then we'll see if we can start putting it together.
And now you're cutting it smaller and smaller.
Smaller.
You're still in it, don't worry.
So is that the same process we went through with Kent, with getting everything set?
That's
you
it.
just started with put everything you can on the table, go through all the photos, all the video, and then start kind of cutting pieces, kind of filling in between? That's awesome.
That's it, yep.
We were really nervous. He trusted us with a lot of important things. He brought us a box. We were in Rockport, you remember this? And he brought us a box of his VHS tapes from Africa.
Oh, wow.
And we were supposed supposed to convert them, and both of us
they
were
were
like,
8
don't mess up the box, and what are we going to do
They were
with this?
8 millimeter
Oh,
reels.
8 millimeter.
And
so-
I was having to transcode those, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do it. Let me hire a professional. I got a professional, and even then I was like, if you screw this up, this is all there is.
Yeah, if you're old enough, you know, you've run movies. Well, we used to have movies in class, and we were like, oh, it's movie time, so you get all quiet. But what would happen is the thing would get stuck, and you'd see the film burn. From the bulb, and that's what kills about home movies. You see all these ones like, oh, look, it's a black and white, or it's a color movie of Roosevelt or something. You're like, wow, that's weird. But they had that kind of thing, and to preserve it.
And
Like
videotape is even more fragile than that.
Especially if you had to pause it, you know, it got that wrinkle in.
Just being old is enough for the emotion on the tape.
Well, and now, and they did a great job, thankfully, and now it's
Didn't burn
transcoded.
any of them, huh?
No, didn't, and we have
check 'em
access.
afterwards.
They're great.
But
They're
you can
great.
watch it now, because I know you hadn't seen it in years, And now since it's transcoded, it's digital. He could watch it on his computer.
All you want.
Yeah.
Now, you had like dark hair or whatever, you know.
He did. He had blonde hair. You blonde and.
I always had blonde hair.
Well, at least you had hair.
No, bloody dark hair.
Well, you were an Adonis, probably, right?
Well, I was a Swede. I grew up in the
Norwegian half.
fisherman. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I get it, so I know what lutefisk is.
Yeah, oh, you do?
Yeah.
Ha, ha.
Yeah.
No wonder you look so funny.
It's great to have you on.
You lutefisk.
You have so much stories here in Texas. With Jim Maloney was on the show quite often, and there's a story here. There's like a Civil War battle at the end of Whitecap, and we had the everything going on with World War II over there. All the history's gone on with the pass, Aransas Pass, the tarpon, the Indians, Glyptodon, prehistoric creatures on Padre Island. You have the Columbian mammoths. It's just incredible all that's gone on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. He said, circling back to my mom, Shirley Thornton.
Shout out to Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, Shirley.
Granny.
Yeah. She actually has done quite a lot of research in the history of and she's always coming to me with, this is a great story. This is a great story. And she's not wrong. There's great stories everywhere in this area.
There's a poster over there at the Oso Bay Wetlands Preserve Park there, and it shows Pleistocene animals that were right, and then kids will go like, there was a Columbian mammoth right here, and they're like, and the seashore used to be 18 miles farther out.
Oh.
I mean, it's like that. I'm still a kid when I look at that stuff.
That's why. I mean, and to be a kid, and I mean, I remember being really into dinosaurs and anything that was prehistoric.
Oh, yeah.
If I would have, you start to realize that, it's hard to imagine. Blows your mind.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff, and you can just the guy over here, Greg Smith. He can spit out. He can sit here for hours just telling you about his great grandfather, Dunn, and all the ranch in Padre Island. And not to mention Davy Crockett. I mean, everybody knows that one. But
Yeah.
there's so many other good stories that you have a lifetime to spend.
Yeah.
Just fleshing those out. Not to mention this guy.
Well, and some of those too, if it's not something that, because it takes a long time to make a movie, but to make a podcast, it's a little quicker. You can be a little quicker, depending on how much you edit. But that's something that I do really like about podcasts, is you can get a lot more nuance from them because they have the time to give it to you.
What's your podcast name, and how do we find it?
It's Lone Star Lore. It hasn't been released yet. It will be later this year, and I'll make sure and share it with you. It'll be on all the platforms and that stuff. So
We have another one called Creative Moonlighting.
we do.
And that's the one that Kent and Virla are on. So I don't know the exact episode number, but
It's 46.
episode 46.
I was going to ask you, I keep forget to mention it because it's the most recent, I guess, in a way, the interdependency.
Yes.
Do you have that in the movie?
That one's in the movie, and he's talking about the tarpon that's out at
UT Marine Science
UT Marine,
Institute.
which it's definitely in the movie if you want to talk about that.
It's 18 foot tall, and it's made up. It's a tarpon, but it's made up of about 48 species of marine life. Some are microscopic, I worked with a scientist from UT Science Center, and I call it interdependency. And it's for the students to study and see how all the marine creatures, everything, from the smallest microscopic all to giant tarpon and whales and everything, are interdependent. They all need each other, and we need them too.
So you have plankton in there. When then plankton goes, and then you have the menhaden that feed on that, and they.
There's plankton, there's microplankton.
Yeah.
And living, everything.
Did you dissect the plankton?
No, I didn't need to because I didn't go inside.
Yeah, those tiny little tools. It's really hard to do.
Really sharp
knives.
together.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I did dissect some other creatures, yes, and put them there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, when did you get to Corpus, and why? What made you choose Corpus as far as like living and raising children?
Corpus Christi was sheer chance. We lived in Denver. I came to the Denver Museum of Nature and Science from Africa. I worked there for 2 years and designed the African exhibit, opened the very first phase. But I always sculpted on the side, always. And I dreamt of being a sculptor full time, always. And then came the Western art movement was underway. And a friend of mine, a great famous sculptor, George Carlson, Swedish descendant, he brought me to the Cabo Hall of Fame and to their show once a year. And so I figured I might be able to do this, full time. And my wife and I, Bela is her name, we decided we're dropping off some sculptures at the Cabo Hall of Fame. And we're halfway down to Texas, and I heard that Texas had an ocean. Well, when I grew up, we saw movies, but it was just cowboys and Indians.
Yeah.
What the hell? Can that be possible? Is it really possible? Or is that? So we decided to drive down and take a look.
What year was that?
That is 48 years ago.
74, I think, is what it
Yeah, no,
was.
75.
I just know because I had to edit it a bunch of times. So, yeah.
75.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, yep.
Yeah, 76 even. Yeah. But, and we drove over the Harbor Bridge. We happened to drive over the Harbor Bridge. And there's a smiling bay. And I grew up in a fishing village, and I loved the mountains, but I always missed the sea. My heart went boom, 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 boom.
That's awesome.
That is still a great view when you come over what is now
it's
the new
incredible,
bridge.
and you look at the bay,
Yeah.
And then we drove around. We ended up by chance on the island. Drove over the bridge. Well, it wasn't a bridge then. It was a little different. Yeah.
The swing bridge at the time?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And we ended up here on the first street to the right, Aquarius Street, and there was a house for sale. One of the few houses on a canal with a dock. I knew. That's it. That's it. That's my fishing village.
Yeah.
And we put a bid on it. Well, the sales weren't great, so the realtor came immediately when I called. And of course, they had what they wanted for it, and I said, "Oh yeah, we get it." No, my wife typically, she made a lower bid. We drove all the way back to Denver, and I was upset all the way. You ruined our future. Oh no! And then when we got there and stuff, we got the message that they accepted her bid.
Turns out she is a good businesswoman.
Yeah, she is. She's a good businesswoman.
That's
and
too
so
funny.
I raised my boys here. It's perfect. We had a boat. We had several different kind of boats.
It was really a good time to come to the island. That was a great period of time for us.
Time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been better. And we had the final boat was a 36 foot. So we could spend the night on board offshore. And I raised my two boys here, and my oldest boy has moved back here, and he's a naval architect. He designs private yachts.
Oh, awesome.
For a living.
Yeah.
And they're being built all over the world. They're building one in New Zealand right now that he's designing.
That's
So he
outstanding.
grew up here with the boats, just like I did in the fishing village. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we're here with Denise and Matthew Thornton, world-renowned sculptor Kent Olberg, Tyler Thorson, world-renowned Joe Gazin, and my name is Jacob Oggs. We're going to take one final commercial break, and we'll be right back to close the show out. There's been an Eric Von Wade sighting in the building, and he's got handcuffs, so I'm not sure what he's going to be going up against, but we'll find out from him starting at 9 o'clock on the Eric Von Wade Show. Stick around. We will be right back.
This Saturday night, Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3 invite you to Retro Country Saturday Night, live at the Tavern. Saturday night, we're live starting at 10 p.m. on Retro Country.
Me up beside the jukebox if I die.
Get ready for Saturday night Retro Country Throwback at the Tavern. The pizza menu is back. From 7 to 9, get 20% off the full menu. And the kitchen's open till midnight with great drink specials and Jell-O shots flowing all night long. Don't miss it this Saturday. The place to be at the Tavern.
I got friends in low places where
Live inside the Tavern and live on Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3.
At the Port of Corpus Christi, we maintain a clear pathway for waterway commerce so that our customers can deliver goods and energy products to the communities who depend on them around the world. We work diligently to build and enhance critical maritime infrastructure and manage traffic 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Thank you, Coastal Bend Region, for entrusting us with your most precious asset.
Since 1966, Hicks Automotive Group in Corpus Christi has been your trusted family-owned dealership, offering the finest in Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Subaru, and Infiniti vehicles. Commitment to our customers extends beyond offering superior quality luxury automobiles and service. Hicks Automotive Group proudly supports our community through contributions to the Coastal Bend Food Bank, Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, and Ronald McDonald House, just to name a few. Visit Hicks Automotive Group, 3102 SPID, and experience the excellence that has kept our community strong for over 60 years. Hicks Automotive Group since 1966.
Are you ready to make your dream home a reality? Meet Miss Mortgage, Jenny Staff from All Western Mortgage. With over 30 years of experience in banking, mortgages, and real estate literacy, Jenny is your trusted partner from application to closing day. Known throughout the community as Ms. Mortgage, she specializes in residential real estate loans, making the process simple and stress-free. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking for alternative income loan options, Jenny provides clear, honest advice with no confusing jargon, just real solutions tailored to your goals. Tune in to her weekly Ms. Mortgage updates for insider tips, real estate trends, and success stories that inspire. She's committed to educating and empowering her clients every step of the way. Jenny Staff, your advocate, your expert, your teammate, from dream to done. Call or visit All Western Mortgage today and ask for Miss Mortgage, Jenny Staff. Call now, 361-946-7163, 595-176 NMLS number. They are an equal home lender.
From the first glass of water in the morning to the clean dishes after dinner and every refreshing shower in between, water is part of everything we do. That's why Corpus Christi Water works hard to provide safe, high-quality water you can trust. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has ranked Corpus Christi Water as a superior rated water system. Corpus Christi Water. Safe, reliable, trusted.
Retro Tejano 104.1 and Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3, and available worldwide on our app at Retro Radio CC. It's the Power Hour with Larry Elizondo, the Godfather, who makes street sense meet common sense. Now, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, it's Island Moon Thursdays.
Here's that tequila line. Thank you, tequila.
That's right, it is Island Moon Thursday. Out here live from Doc's Steaks and Seafood. We are gonna get this show closed down and get it handed on over to Eric Von Wade, who was we're gonna be doing Eric's show from Doc's as well. So yeah, we've got Billy made us 2 carafes of coffee. We've had a great conversation, getting to a bunch of good stuff, and really glad you guys can make it. Matthew and Denise Thornton, Ken Olberg, Tyler Thorson, Joe Gazen, and my name is Jacob Oggs. Let me turn the commercial break off on YouTube. Wow, and you can always go watch this on YouTube. Just go to Island Moon Live. And one of the things, Denise, you were saying was, I didn't realize you guys are homegrown kids, right?
Yeah, we're Flower Bluff grads. Matthew and I went to school there and graduated in '98. Shirley Thornton, my mother-in-law, was my 7th grade teacher.
Oh, my
and so, yeah, I think all of us probably could say she taught somebody in the family, but that's how I met Matthew. We met when we were in 7th grade. We were the same height. And I have pictures to prove it. I really do. And then, yeah, we're A&M grads. I mean, this is a special story for us to tell because it's about somebody that's impacted our hometown. And I mean, we grew up crossing the bridge and seeing all the beautiful sculptures. So it's exciting.
Yep, that's for sure true. I mean, and it does. Anytime you're making a movie, it takes a village of some sort, and this has been our village.
Yeah.
It's been really, and the movie would. Probably not. It certainly wouldn't be where it is right now without all of that support. So we're very thankful.
Shout out to Friends of Redhead Pond. They're our nonprofit fiscal sponsor. And folks may not know, but when you're an independent filmmaker, somebody didn't just come to you and say, hey, make a movie about Ken Ohlberg, here's some money, you have to raise it. And so if we didn't have the partnership with Friends of Redhead Pond, we just simply wouldn't have been able to make the movie.
Right.
So.
I was there at the Redhead Pond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Prince worked with the Flower Bluff Oceans program too. So
Oh, that's awesome.
so you'll see that in the film too.
Yeah, that's like learning sword fighting from Zorro.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's pretty good.
Excellent. Well, Kent, I'm looking forward to the movie. It's going to be a lot of fun. You have any other fun projects or something you got coming up that you're excited about? What are you looking forward to? Aside from winter.
Winter in Colorado.
Do you miss herring?
Hmm?
Do you miss
Do you miss eating herring?
Oh yes, of course, herring and lutefisk.
Yes.
Yes, that's the great smelling fish that all the kids love, right?
Hey, it's colder. Everything is white and fishy and tastes like salt because it's preserved.
Yeah, exactly. And lutefisk has a very special taste. It comes very close to rotten fish flavor.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw there was like a challenge or something where people were, they would get a can and open it, and then they'd have to leave the room because of the smell.
Until you get the lutefisk out.
Yeah. We had it every year in my fishing village, and it's from lingcod.
Okay.
They take lingcod and create lutefisk from them. And we flayed lingcod and stuff and put it in the lutefisk basket, and Grandma created the lutefisk, Yeah.
That is wild.
It's like the Norwegian and Swedish version of menudo. You don't want to know what's in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we could do like, smoked and canned mullet down here would probably be something.
Making a canned mullet.
Yeah. Something we have plenty of down here. Excellent. Well, thanks again, guys, for coming out, and look forward to the show and seeing everybody. And you said Guy Harvey's coming up from the Caymans for a special appearance and everything. So
We really appreciate this, being able to reach out and thank everybody and talk in detail. Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We look forward to
Thank you,
seeing
thank you.
the life story. the
And
whole
Guy
complete-
Harvey is a dear friend of mine, so we've known each other from the beginning. So
yeah,
we've been fishing all over the world, diving all over the world together, so.
Outstanding.
Really great story, yeah.
that's fantastic, and just so glad to be representing Corpus Christi and the Coastal Bend in this, and it's really neat that where we live plays a big part in in what you do and in your life as well. It's just so awesome. It's been a great interview live from Doc's Steaks and Seafood. Stick with us. We've got the Eric Von Wade Show coming up shortly. This is KUKA Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3. Y también Retro Tejano 104.1. So buenos dias to all our friends out there listening on Retro Tejano. This has been Larry Elizondo's Power Hour. We're going to leave you with a little bit of Raul Ayala and get on back for the Eric Von Wade Show afterwards. So thanks again, friends.
Is made.
You need to give us a compliment.
Let us rejoice and be glad. All right. Gotta take the downs with the ups, bro.
Your emotions, but I'm pushing you this time. Don't you like to rhyme? Oh yes I know. Oh, I know. It's bad. What I gotta do to get away? What I gotta do to make you stay? And I'm not gonna catch you this time. I'm not around. I'm not around. 'Cause it's true. They all for me. Now I know it is true. They all for me. They for me. And we can take a ride around, back in town. Hear my voice missing out. Oh no, you're missing out. Oh no, you're missing out. This time it is a waste. I like to miss me. I like to ride alone and sit around the lake. But now you know now. Now you know now. Now you know now. Help me anyway. Anyway. Oh no. I just wanna forget about you. The wonder why I even came out. Now, maybe it's just too loud. 'Cause it's true. all I know now. This kid can go insane, and I can get it on the red out. But it wouldn't be for shame. A little kid changed me, 'cause it's too painful.